Today's video is sponsored by Game Nerds, the best place to buy all your sealed Digimon product, as well as other trading card games and for all your general gaming needs. And also by Inked Gaming, the best place to get your own custom playmats printed with the highest quality around. Links are in the description.
What is going on, Tamers? It's Mike here, and I've got an Imperialdramon deck profile for you guys. Two reasons I think you should play this deck is that while it may not be the most meta-relevant deck, it's still gonna steal you some games. It's still strong. It's cheap, super cheap to build, to be honest, and it's an Imperialdramon deck. This is one of the fan favorite Digimon of the franchise. This is always going to see support. There's an O2 movie coming out shortly. Once that movie drops, Bandai is definitely releasing some cards to go along with it. So I think you might as well start playing it now, get used to what DNA is like, and enjoy. It's got some sweet combos. You can do some sweet things with it. So let's jump right into the rookie lineup here. To start off, we've got Vmon from BT13. This card is just a solid card for the deck. Searches pretty much all of your pieces except for your option cards. On play, you grab an Imperialdramon or a card with Furnace traits and a Davis. So this grabs you both your Davis Tamer and your Dual Tamer, Davis and Ken. End of turn has, you can DNA at the end of your turn into a card from your hand. That's pretty strong. It comes up. There's some cards in this deck that let you keep the turn when you do that. So good to look out for. And honestly, it's one of the only searchers for this deck that actually has an inheritable, which is, it's a plus. It's nice to have Digimon that can have dual purposes instead of just searchers that don't do anything once you've played them. Moving on, we've got the Wormmon from BT12. Almost the same exact card as that Vmon. The big difference here is that instead of grabbing a Davis, it's going to grab a Ken. Now, the inheritable is the exact same, but it does things to note. I know that when this card first got printed, a lot of people weren't playing it in their decks because they didn't think that it digivolved over blue. This does digivolve over your blue eggs, so definitely play this card. Don't skimp out on it. I think it's really strong.
Quick editor's note here, Mike runs the BT3 Demi Vmons, the one that when attacking, if it has jamming, you draw one. It's the standard Imperial egg.
Next up, some cards that may surprise some people that haven't been playing Imperial is Labramon. So while it doesn't really go with the theme of the deck, the inheritable is really strong, where when attacking, you get to gain a memory once per turn if your Digimon is jamming. Again, this whole deck is about jamming, so this is a really nice card, especially early on. If you're getting choked to 1 or 2 memory, you can kind of pop off with this card. If you have the XVmon in hand from EX1, you digivolve over this, raise, you get to swing, gain a memory. Let's say you've got Hammer Sparks in your hand, you can DNA, whatever. You can do some fun stuff with this card. It lets you keep your turn. It lets you gain memory. It's strong. Also, a thing to note is that when you DNA, your inheritables kind of reset. So this once per turn kind of turns into a twice per turn thing if you DNA, because you get to swing at that XVmon, DNA into a Imperialdramon, DNA into a Dynamon, whatever, swing again and gain another memory. So that's 2 memory gained off this card in the same turn, which is strong. Now I am playing a 13th rookie here, and that is just the Madoki Betamon. You don't have to play 13 rookies. I like playing 13 because I'm a weirdo. If you don't want to play this card, you could cut it for memory boost. If you wanted to play this card but want to cut something else because you still only want 12 rookies, then you can definitely cut maybe the Labramon or Wormmon. One of those two is what I would cut instead. For the champion lineup, we've got 4X Vmon from EX1. This card is like your workhorse. It has jamming on its own, and it has jamming as an inheritable. This is like the card I want to see whenever I'm playing, because I'm like, okay, I know for a fact that I can do some damage early on. It also does digivolve over green from EX1, which means you can digivolve over your Wormmon still. Next up, 2X Vmon from BT12. This card just has, when you would DNA Digivolve into a green Digimon, you gain 1 memory, and then it again has that jamming inheritable. Super important for this deck. You need to see this card or that XVmon, obviously, to DNA. And I just think the jamming inheritable is more important than anything else. If you wanted to play a hybrid, you would probably cut one of these for a Lanamon, perhaps, because the Lanamon can give you jamming. That's probably the only card I would cut one of these for, is if you wanted to play the hybrid. Next up, we've got 4 Stingmon for Starter Deck 9. This is my opinion. I think it's the better Stingmon between the BT12 Stingmon and these Stingmon and every other Stingmon printed. And the main reason I think that is because its inheritable is so good, where when you attack with this Digimon, if you have a blue Digimon in play, you draw one. That is not once per turn. So you can draw as many cards as you want as long as you can keep unsuspending this dude, which is so strong, such a good inheritable. It also reduces its cost by 1, so it can play for 3, which is good because let's say you start off your turn, Digivolve in the back to a rookie, Digivolve into an XVmon, then play a Memory Setter Tamer, boom, pass the turn. When it gets back to you, you're guaranteed to go into a DNA as long as you have these cards in your hand. Next up, 2 Stingmon from BT12, almost the same exact card as that BT12 XVmon. The big difference is going to be the inheritables. The inheritable for this is it gains piercing instead of jamming. The piercing is good. It comes up a lot more with the Dino Beamon, which is a sneak peek, but yeah, we're playing that in here. It's a good card. I like to draw more again from that Stingmon. If you like the piercing, you could raise up on this and cut off on the Starter Deck 9 Stingmon, but I like to be able to find outs in my deck. I like to be able to draw through everything. There's no discard size in Digimon, you know, it's not like some other card games, so you keep those cards in your hands unless your opponent has an effect that tells you not to. Next up for the ultimates, we're just going to start it off. Best ultimate in the deck, arguably maybe the best card in the deck. It's really strong here. So when you DNA, you get to bounce something that costs 6k or less. So that's a lot of champions. That's all, like pretty much all rookies. Could be some ultimates if they're playing some low DP ultimates, but I don't think most people are these days. The important part of this card though is that when you attack once per turn, you unsuspend. So if you get the XVmon play with jamming, you swing him, DNA into this dude, swing again, unsuspend, swing again. That's 3 checks really early on. Sometimes it's hard for decks to keep pace with that, and that's really why you play this guy. Now moving on to the other ultimates in the deck, we're playing 3 BT12 Dino B. So 3 of these guys, he has a super strong when digivolving. If you DNA into this dude, you get to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and then this Digimon gains plus 3k DP for the turn. But the best part is that you can attack afterwards. So it says, then this Digimon may attack an opponent's Digimon. So the way that that's worded is if you pass turn and you have like a BT12 Vmon inheritable and you get the DNA into this dude, you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon and you still get to attack into it. And it gets like pseudo mega levels because he'll be an 11k DP swinging into something suspended. So I think it's strong. It also has a pretty strong inheritable where when one of your Digimon with Imperialdramon in its name or with freeness traits deletes an opponent's Digimon by battle, you trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So trashing security is probably the best way to get rid of security in this game because those option cards are not going to be activating. Now we've got one more ultimate to play here, and that's the Starter Deck 9 Dino B. The reason I'm playing this at 1, it doesn't need the DNA to get the when digivolving, right? So you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if you DNA'd, you get to that Digimon doesn't unsuspend. So sometimes, you know, whatever, you bricked. Stuff happens. It's Digimon. It's a card game. If you see this card, at least you know you get to suspend your opponent's Digimon if you don't have the DNA. However, if you do have the DNA, that's when this card becomes super clutch, because forcing a card to not unsuspend during your opponent's unsuspend phase can save you the game. It can lock down a mega, it can lock down an extra body on the field. If they don't have a way to unsuspend that card, you don't even have to worry about it that turn. It has a decent inheritable where this Digimon gets plus 1k DP for each of its colors. That does come up, you know, it'll make your dragon modes 14k. It can make your fighter modes from BT12 pretty big. So I like it at 1. There's been a lot of games where I've just really wanted to see it, so I just feel like I had to put it in at 1. Next up for the megas, we're going straight into the dragon modes. I'm playing one of the dragon mode from BT12. The reason I'm playing the BT12 dragon mode is because it has, first of all, it digivolves for 3 over Imperialdramon or Dinobemon, which is good because you don't have to digivolve for 4 like the old dragon mode. It also unsuspends itself, which is great, and it will suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Now it has a really good end of attack, and that end of attack lets you digivolve into an Imperialdramon and reduce the cost by 2. So you get to digivolve into a fighter mode for free because the black text on fighter mode says digivolve for 2 over a card with dragon mode in the name. So this is a free evo into a fighter mode. You can't beat that. For the other megas, we've got 2 dragon modes from the starter deck. The reason I'm playing this is essentially I think it's the better dragon mode in my build because it lets you spit out the bodies and continue your plays and kind of keep comboing off. Now, if your opponent doesn't answer the dragon mode and the 2 bodies that you spit out with it, it's probably game for them the next turn because you're gonna have the dragon mode swinging, you're gonna have probably an XVmon with jamming swinging, and then you're gonna have DNA plays possible to keep climbing. And DNA is a free evo, you know, you just gotta remember that. So you can do a lot with these bodies that get spit out. If you play this card and keep your turn, you're gonna keep going and plussing, and it's gonna be a really strong play. So for the fighter modes, let's go with, this is maybe a hot controversial take on fighter modes right now. I'm playing one BT8 fighter mode. I know a lot of people aren't playing this. They're just opting to play the BT12 fighter mode. I'm playing it at 1. The reason I'm doing that is because I think it's really strong to be able to unsuspend when you attack. And I think that it's sweet that it also suspends an opponent's Digimon when you attack. So you can get over megas with this dude. You can get rid of multiple Digimon with this guy. He also has a bounce where when you digivolve, you bounce something that has 10k DP or less. That's good, but mainly it's that one attacking that I think is so strong here. Of course, we are playing the BT12 fighter mode as well. So this card is just, it's better for removal, you know? It has a really good effect where you suspend all your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards, then return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to its owner's hand. By returning an Imperialdramon Dragon mode from this Digimon's Digivolution cards to the owner's hand, place all of your opponent's suspended Digimon at the bottom of their owner's decks instead. So this can clear boards as long as there's no Digivolution cards. It gets rid of stuff, you know? It's strong. However, I just, it's hard for me to choose between the two because I just think the one attacking and unsuspending is so strong here from the BT8 fighter mode. Now, it does have a good all turns effect, and that all turns effect is just this Digimon gets plus 1k DP for each color on its Digivolution cards, so it's probably always a 15k all turns body. And it does have blocker and security attack +1. The issue I have with the card is that once you attack with it, there's not really a good way to unsuspend it. So it's just going to be stuck there. You're either going to have a blocker or you're going to have security attack +1. There's no in between. At least with the BT8 fighter mode, when you attack, you get to unsuspend that turn. So you can attack, unsuspend, and then leave it up. You know, if you would swing with this guy, he's staying suspended. There's just nothing you can do about it. But you know, again, for the comparison, I think they're both really good cards. If you were gonna cut one, I'd probably cut this and then just play this at 2. But, you know, also, it's probably sacrilegious for me to be playing this deck with Mireille sleeves. It's just this deck really needed new sleeves. These are what I had on hand. So don't hate me for that. So yeah, that's the megas. That's pretty much all the Digimon. Now we're gonna go into the option cards. We got 1 HPD. This is just a super strong card. I mean, this card probably should be banned. It's already limited to 1, but it is just good. It lets you combo. It's strong. It's a strong card. We've got Ice Wall, another Saki one of. This card is a Hammer Spark in security. This card is a floodgate when it hits the field. And you can choke someone, you can put them to 1 with it, and then when they swing, they have to pass the turn back to you. There's a reason why it's at 1. It is strong. We've got 2 Hammer Sparks. I'm playing it at 2. I just like the memory gain. I feel like any more you don't need. It also has a really good, strong security effect where you gain 2 memory. So, you know, they hit this in security when they're trying to finish game. Could punish them pretty hard by passing the turn back to you. Blue memory boost. Not much to say. It searches like the whole deck except for your green cards. That's why I have it at 1. If it could grab me my green Digimon, I'd probably play this at more. But unfortunately, you're kind of stuck between grabbing blue stuff, grabbing green stuff. So I'm playing the blue memory boost over the green memory boost because most of my rookies are blue and not green. That's the main thing. I guess you could play maybe a blue memory boost and cut one of the 13 rookies I showed off and play green memory boost or something, but you know, it is what it is. We don't have a searcher for dual colored decks just yet like that. 2 Megadeath, probably one of the strongest option cards in the game. Costs 5, and then it gets to bounce something to your opponent's hand. Same exact effect for security. It is a good card. Super good card. Super cheap removal too. Heading into the Tamers now, 2 Davis and Ken. I used to play this at 3. I would play 3 Davis and Ken, and then I would play 3 of the Davis from BT3. I find that 2 is fine though. It's really strong because when you Digivolve, you get to suspend this. As long as you Digivolve into a dual color Digimon, you can suspend this and then unsuspend that Digimon. So you get to do like your Imperialdramon plays pretty well with this. So Imperialdramon swing, and then Digivolve into the Dragon mode, and then he gets to unsuspend. That's strong, it's good. It also will gain you a memory at the start of your turn if you have blue, gain you a memory at the start of the turn when you have a green. So you can effectively gain 2 memory off this card at the start of your turn. Start of your main phase, by the way, not start of your turn. Sorry. You have to raise first to get into the memory sometimes. And then lastly, the last 3 cards of the deck, we've got BT3 Davis. Probably one of the best memory setters of all time. He searches every single card in this deck except for option cards. This card grabs you green Digimon, it grabs you a blue Digimon, it can grab you a blue and a green if they are there. It's so good. That's why you play it. Set yourself to 3. It's one of the only memory setters that doesn't feel bad when you have to play it to pass a turn or something, or it doesn't feel bad to play when you already have one on the field because it's still a search, right? It's one of the only memory setters in the game that doesn't feel too terrible. Obviously, you still only want to be playing 1 because it costs 4, but again, if you're breaking in, you're searching, it's not a bad option. So that is it for my Imperialdramon deck profile for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, comment, share, tell your friends about us. We are trying to grow our YouTube channel. We have a decently popular Digimon podcast going right now. We have a Discord that you guys should definitely join. If you join this Discord, every Friday we have a Tamers Battle League, which is just our online locals. We have prizing every single Friday for this. So come join, tell your friends. I hope you guys enjoyed this profile. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if there's anything you guys would change. Please don't point out how many times I probably stuttered or mispronounced things in this video. My first YouTube video ever besides the ones we've recorded for the podcast. So again, I just hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great day. Thanks so much.